Futurama comic issue 68. Farnsworth greets the crew, and Leela asks where their clothes went. Zoidberg wonders where his left claw is, and Hermes wonders why he can't remember anything. Fry wonders what that machine is that's blocking his view of Amy. Farnsworth doesn't remember what happened either, but he guesses that Bender does, as he's holding a wire near an emergency lab coat and video cable locker. He guesses Bender's missing eye was recording everything that just happened, and decides to watch the footage. Bender's sarcastic about how he's not comfortable with this. Earlier on, Farnsworth said he had been having short-term memory trouble, so he invented a device to help him out. He said it had a unique on button, and Scruffy presses what looks like an on button without permission, even though he's told not to, somehow. So this covers everyone black stuff, and makes them forget what happened recently. Farnsworth says this machine can explain everything. Bender says he found this button, and his antenna's glowing. Bender jokes that he has a cream for that, and Farnsworth says it's because his missing eye was recording the video, so they continue the video from where they left off. Farnsworth kept Bender from pressing a button, and said that button operates a time machine he can't describe. This machine's on button works from the inside. Amy says the machine is a cleaner, and Leela tells everyone to undress and put their clothes inside. And this resulted in Zoidberg's claw being in Hermes' mouth, and Leela not remembering what just happened. Hermes sees a memory cleaner. Farnsworth sees that Bender has a cable in his eye running to the TV monitor, and says he must be recording video. It's annoying how repetitive this can get. So the cable shows Farnsworth the younger him asking Zoidberg to help him with the demonstration when he needs to evacuate his full ink pouch. Bender forced Zoidberg in the memory cleaner when he was about to blow. Bender pulled the plug and ink splashed everywhere. Amy then had an empty bag at 11:44 and Hermes showed up, having just heard gunshots after finishing eating. Farnsworth says this TV monitor can explain everything, so they see Zoidberg get the cleaner door closed on him, and there's an explosion on the footage. Hermes says that the machine doesn't have a sign on it that says insert gold coins. He finds a claw in his mouth, and there's an explosion, and Amy runs up to Bender, suspicious of him. Then they all lose their short-term memory again, and Bender implies that he hasn't been losing his memory. It kinda makes sense because he's a robot. He reveals he's recorded everything. The footage reveals that Farnsworth built this machine to enhance memories, and Amy inserts a gold coin into the memory cleaner, and then accuses Bender of wiping out the crew's short-term memory to steal all of Amy's gold coins, since she used to have a lot more in the bag. Then the cops show up because of Amy calling them as soon as she saw the Robot Mafia come in. The Robot Mafia doesn't remember why they're in the closet, and they run away from the cops. The footage reveals that this was all a plan of Bender's. Bender says the Robot Mafia must have taken the coins, and reveals that inserting the coins doesn't erase their memories. Him kicking the cleaner does. The Robot Mafia gets their memory erased a little, and Bender tells them they were here to donate their guns to Guns for Tots campaign. So they all wonder why they lost some of their memory, and Farnsworth plays the video showing when Bender told Amy to put coins in the memory cleaner. She refused to put her coins in there and hid the bag in the closet. So the Robot Mafia go in the closet, and when Amy gets suspicious, Bender kicks the cleaner again. You'd think the cleaner would become impossible to use. After all the times that he kicked it, you'd think it'd be pretty damaged, and not wipe out the memory anymore. Must be made of really tough stuff. The crew gets mad at Bender, and then they all forget again. Bender tells Farnsworth he is removing the wireless transmitter from his eye socket, and he throws it out the window. What took him so long? But Farnsworth has another, and plays footage of Bender planning on scamming money out of the Robot Mafia. He invited Dawnbot over here with the primitive home phone still in the future, and the Robot Mafia gets mad and shoots lasers. Then out of nowhere, Leela kisses Fry, and then gets mad and slaps him, wondering what happened a few minutes ago. Bender goes in through the window, and Farnsworth holds a cable to see the recording. And Bender got told in the footage that Farnsworth built the machine to enhance memories in a reliable way. He'd get inside the machine, and 4 minutes of memory from everyone around the machine gets erased. How's that supposed to enhance Farnsworth's memory? Bender gets rid of the last video cable, the crew holds Bender so that Farnsworth could install a wireless transmitter, and Bender kicks the cleaner again. Then we don't see anyone in the room, and Leela goes in, saying the coast is clear and wants Fry to follow her into the closet. Fry wonders where that machine is, and Farnsworth says it's a good thing Bender found the cable. In the footage, Bender says that he didn't lose his memory when Farnsworth turned the memory cleaner on before. Farnsworth explains that that's because the machine also thinks to back up Bender's video recording an extra 2 minutes, conveniently, which reloads his memory banks. He gets told that you turn it on from the inside. Zoidberg was packed in the cleaner so tightly that all you have to do is kick the door. Farnsworth said he wanted to attach Bender to the monitor, and Bender threw the cable out the window. Wait, how is Bender's missing eye recording footage of him throwing the cable out the window? It would have to be across from them, hovering. We see Bender throw the cable out the window and get called clumsy, when it must have been on purpose, and out of nowhere, Leela kisses Fry. Then Scruffy finds out he traveled back in time 42 minutes with the on button. He dumped the bag of Amy's gold coins into the bucket, and the story ends with Fry kicking the cleaner door. Futurama comic, issue 69. We see the Cat in the Hat in a doctor's outfit rhyming, and Mom hits him for it and says she wants to know why she's having chest pains. I wonder why they're allowed to have him look like that. Lucky for her, he won't press charges. He apologizes for the annoying rhyming and says that she needs a heart transplant. Somehow he told her that having a heart full of hate would extend her life twice as long. It's the future, why didn't she have a robot heart? And because he started rhyming at a bad time, she threatens him, and we see his hat in his mouth as she tells her boys she's gonna take another trip to applied cryogenics. She's able to talk to her sons because of a hologram she can project from her normal-looking eye. I guess her doctor assumes he won't be able to win a case against her if he's sued her for assault because it wasn't videotaped, so he doesn't have any proof, and it's his word against a rich person. Her sons show up a minute later because Walt couldn't find his shoes. And then there's another excuse that's more confusing. She goes to the cryogenics lab, which is somehow allowed to replace people's body parts. Her potential heart donor is missing, and it's because it was thought out. And it cuts to Fry, implying that he was her donor through an unlucky coincidence. It's gonna be forced if she'll be legally allowed to go after Fry. And why doesn't she just take the heart of anybody else who's there? What makes her think his heart is better than all the rest of them? Farnsworth takes too long to give Fry an award for biggest heart and smallest brain. But he's friends with Bender, and Bender's a bad influence on him, who got him to happily join in on looting. Besides, since when does Farnsworth care enough to bother giving any of his crewmates awards? Mom shows up wasting a lot of time, and she lies to Fry that he's the first recipient of a Mom Corp internship. Somehow Bender wishes he could get the gig, even though it requires working for her for free like a slave. Mom lets Bender tag along as an unpaid robot product tester. Mom says she'll get Fry to Mom Corp to start monitoring his heart. And then she lies that she meant to say something else. And since it's not like her to care about the condition of someone else, it should be easy to figure out what she's really up to. But what are they supposed to do? Get in trouble by fighting her off? Well, they could say that she could get Farnsworth to give her a robot heart. Zoidberg somehow thinks wasting time trying to do a ballerina dance is going to be a good idea. That's out of character even for him. Mom wastes some more time and tells Fry to slap her son's hello, and Fry wants to be polite instead, which disappoints Bender. Mom pretends to be impressed to make Fry think he's safe, and tells Bender to meet her in the product testing room. More time is wasted, and Bender gets a robot taser tested on him, but it's off screen. It's cringeworthy to see Fry in a uniform like Ignor's. He tells Mom he did some work for her, and Mom weirds him out, telling him to not do anything that would quicken the heart. Mom finds out the next day that Fry isn't here because the intern isn't employed on Tuesday. And she says she needs Fry here before Farnsworth sends him on a fatal delivery. The whole time I was wondering why she wouldn't have just gotten a new heart instantly from stem cell technology, or the cloning technology perfected by Farnsworth. There shouldn't be any organ shortages and waiting lists in the future. So why does she have to keep going after Fry? It's a creative plot point, but she would know she could just get Farnsworth to clone a new heart for money and avoid the whole story. She tells her sons to activate her personal teleporter. Fry's on a ship being attacked by giant space mice because delivering 500 pounds of cheese to a mouse planet was a trap. And there's special alien mice who actually do love cheese as much as mice are advertised to. Leela assumes that Mom heard their distress call and teleported here to save them. Mom tells Fry to be her intern full-time, which you'd think she would have done in the first place actually. And somehow he's tempted by Mom bucks even though she tells him they can't be spent. Confusingly, she cares enough to save Bender too, but not Leela. And she sends some random people to Leela pretending they'll be good replacements for her crewmates. I'd rather see how she got home in one piece. But instead we see an uninteresting montage of Fry working for Mom on Earth. Why would she still not have her heart from him in weeks? I thought she was going to take him to his immediate death, and it would be prevented. Instead he lives long enough to fly with a jetpack to file some files. And he slaps the sons. See what I mean about him not having the biggest heart? Mom says she's got several new weapons ready for robots thanks to Bender, and tells everyone to get out while she'll discuss something with Fry in private. Why did she wait so long? She at least thanks him for all his good work. She says she wants to adopt him so that she could leave MomCorp to him if anything happens to her. Why him and not her black-haired son? After all the time she spent with him, you'd think he'd be the first option, if she's even capable of caring about someone at all. They hug as I'm really confused, and she tells Fry to give her an answer when she gets home. Her sons wonder why she's happy, and Walt wants to take matters into their own hands. Didn't Larry introduce himself as Walt? Mom gets told that her heart is healthier than ever, and she's added 50 years to her life. And the doctor says it's a rare phenomenon, only described as love. Somehow Mom thinks this means that she can stop acting like she enjoys Fry's company, even though she has no reason to think that if she goes back to the way things used to be, she won't go back to needing a new heart. It's also confusing that she hesitates before saying it's a relief that she can stop acting, because she's been nothing but evil the whole series, and her sons make that clear. Why would she be nicer to an idiot than her own sons? She tells them to refreeze Fry so she'll know exactly where to find a replacement heart if she needs it again. She will if she stresses herself out doing something she sheds a tear over. Why didn't she do this the first time she had him over? How does Fry not hear her say goodbye? Suddenly, Fry's brought in a limo back to Planet Express, pushed out of the limo, and told that she was gonna have him frozen. Why are his sons not freezing him even though they're told to? He says that his services aren't required anymore, and they'll tell her he escaped the car and made it here before they could apprehend him. But then she'll just tell them to go after him again. So why are they bothering? He gives them back his uniform, and agrees to give them a tip on how to not get slapped as often. Not talking would be a good start. Mom gets told he opened the door and ran away, and gets told he sensed that something was amiss. She's told that they'll kidnap Fry later, and then the story ends with them hugging her all at once, with ignorant dialogue not making any sense. She's confused, and they did this because she can't slap them while they're doing this, even though they know that she'd slap them as soon as they let go of her, and they'd have to let go of her because they'd have to go to sleep eventually. The story ends with her saying she'll attack them as soon as they let her go and shouting no. Okay, I can't help but find this charming and funny. So why did the story try and make me think she actually grew attached to Fry when she's a mother like this? This was an annoying repetitive story where Bender tried to use a machine that erases the short-term memory of everyone but him around it to trick the robot mafia and Amy into losing a lot of money to him. The crew keeps getting Bender to activate the machine when they get mad at him, and we see a little more of Bender's footage every time after having to wade through repetitive dialogue. This was a confusing story. It was tense that she hired Fry as an intern specifically because he's where she wanted to get her new heart. Even if it makes no sense that the people of the future couldn't just get a new heart instantly. Of all the different options, why would she choose Fry? and not one of the other people cryogenically frozen. I was confused that she didn't try to get his heart right away, and instead was nice to him for weeks on end as he worked for her as a slave. It was unrealistic that Fry was happy about it despite not being paid. And it was ridiculous that Bender kept working as a robot products tester despite being put in terrible pain from the products. Bender's a criminal, so he definitely has free will. So why would he be such a pushover just because he's working for Mom? Are all of the robots programmed to love her and it's beyond their free will to turn on her? Then that needs to be explained. Somehow her sons decided to send him back to his workplace when they got ordered to freeze him. And because of Fry's suggestion, they hugged her because they always wanted to do that. Considering that she somehow got attached to Fry, even though he's an idiot, it seems confused of the writing that it turns around and goes back to make her unsympathetic when she's hugged by her sons. Why bother trying to make her more sympathetic when this isn't going to change anything? I don't get this story. You'd think it'd be a story where she'd try to get his heart immediately, and Farnsworth would figure out from her obvious hint about monitoring his heart that she wanted to do that, and send the crew to save him. And the story would be about them fighting their way to him. That would make a short story, but you could have two stories in the issue.